the clinical psychologist in a specific article um, is specifically talking about the attainment of administrative issues. The influences that work, the influences of work environments of correctional psychologists displays far more difficulties than the other psychologists compared to um, in other types of working environments such as hospitals, mental health institutions, and schools, which those would go into completely would go into separate types of psychology degrees or psychology specific trainings for them. Um, also, also, the researchers state that would be like a specific contributing factor of of administrative of administrative issues towards clinical psychologists in correctional institutions. Um, um, and specifically in the types of institutions that they're speaking about, um, the different roles are served and different types of clients are also served as well. Um, that can probably change a specific type and specific attitude that were that were basically spoken about in other articles related to this one, of other different aspects of this that basically intervene the patient and psychologist connection or case. Also, furthermore, specific institutions such as the federal institution, specifically talked in this article, is stated to have more security, but more security as a positive, but more security problems as a negative, which researchers basically speak of having similar effects on the psychological departments within the actual correction institution. And basically, that those effects are contrasted between other correction institutions, or also further later on talked into spoken as other provinces instead of specific correction institutions, just like as it's talking about now as federal institutions. Then, after the survey was provided to those who worked in federal corrections and five other provinces around, and that federal correction was basically located in Canada, so it might have different aspect, like different rules and regulations towards the actual psychologist. But compared to the other articles, most influences and of effects towards the correctional psychologist, is very similar. Um, and out of the federal institution and five other provinces, there was at most 100% response rate between all combined, specifically except one, which wasn't specifically explained. And the survey had questions such as, what is your official title? How is your department administrated? And how are decisions made in your department? And so far and so forth. Um, although, although specifically the variables in the articles were almost not very specific compared to the data that was actually provided with for example, the specific questions that were asked towards the psychologist. But from the data that was basically covered by the researchers, I was it's it can be further related to like the effects of burnout, since burnout deals with the personal depletion, the emotional exhaustion, and the personal accomplishments, and basically that stuff, those factors, those factors would basically can basically go under the umbrella term of administrators. So yeah, And then the researchers did state that psychologists in correctional institutions do have to contend with more custodial restrictions, as well as there being a lack of units and department and other good departments. So there's a lot of competition between administrations and departments, of course, and a good department and other lack and good departments, and others might lack mostly disciplines, as well as those that can be factors of and they might lack also discipline as another result of lack of specific units. Units meaning the specific departments, and all that can specifically go under the category of burnout.